Good morning, everyone. We are back with another episode of Victor Escalante Live. Joining me today is the usual team, Jose Monterrosa from Imagina Communications and Michelle Wickmandy. I was thinking about this, guys. Combined, I would say we have an average of 90 to 100 years of experience in media, marketing, PR, and advertising. Okay, I may have 50 of those years.
You have more than half of it, right?
Exactly. But if you're joining us for the first time, or if you're a regular listener, we're going to be covering the topic of automated marketing. This is a very timely subject because even yours truly has had to update himself to the latest and greatest in marketing automation. And I'm actually implementing some of what we're going to discuss today. So I don't know what Jose and Michelle have prepared, but I'm sure it's going to be good because our
Yeah.
content is research based. We're not just making this up. We're not just trying to give you stuff that everybody else is repeating. We're actually doing a deep dive to move the conversation forward on things that matter and things that improve your marketing, on things that improve your business, on that game-changing secret sauce that you can take away. So take it
And,
away, guys.
and yeah, and I want to add that, I think that this is going to be a series of shows related to
Okay.
how to automate marketing. And because right now, or in today's show, this topic is so big that we can break it down into little pieces. So we will
Right.
try to cover like the top level things related to automation, or how to automate things in marketing. But hey, it's a very interesting topic, very much related to AI, as you can imagine.
Yes.
And
Yes.
some of these things, as I was looking back or thinking back about forms, for example, which
Hmm.
maybe a lot of marketers have been involved with creating online forms. I used to be a form geek a few years back, and I got so much into that reviewing the new things today has been exciting, at least on my end.
I'm going to
Also,
I'm going to up you and say
okay.
that I got into forums uh, back around 1995. Okay, 1995,
Okay.
around specific topics that again I became a prolific writer in those forums, and even got into those days we called them flame wars because, as you recall, uh, that kind of platform was the Wild West because you could debate anybody, and it could get really nasty with counter arguments. But good stuff came out of it because the goal surfaced to the top as far as what was legitimate and what was actually good and working for in the industry and the businesses.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. Michelle, you want to take it from here?
Sure. So, so today we'll talk about efficiency via marketing automation and the importance of marketing automation is the fact that by automating our marketing um, our marketing efforts, we can significantly improve our efficiencies. So I have a few statistics to share. Um, for example, chatbots have been shown to help save up to 30% of customer support costs. 48% of marketers are now automating their content. And the DMA reports that 75% of email revenue is generated from triggered or personalized campaigns. So we can see that automation is helping to improve efficiencies. It's making marketing again more efficient, more effective.
I want to add something to that. That this whole thing about creating process that can be simplified by adding technology to it that can be a business itself. And I think that a lot of marketing companies maybe don't see it that way. And what I'm trying to say here is that let's say that you have a small restaurant, like your friend, the Fonda Rosa, right?
Yes.
And I mean, do you realize that there are many things that are being done here by people that can actually be automated? And even the people that are being used to do those things, they may be using all technology, or maybe even writing stuff on paper and then putting it over here. So
I'm all ears.
yeah, no, but I mean, like
Professor
I,
Jose, teach us. Yeah,
no,
absolutely, absolutely.
what I'm trying to say here is that, you know what, let's forget about the marketing. Let me just facilitate a lot of things here that will make your life easier. Okay, because
Yes,
the automation part of this, and hopefully I'm using the right word here, but it's not only about marketing, but improving how things are done, and those may not be marketing related. Let me just give you one example, and I'm going to be talking more about this later. But I I have one client that wanted to simplify the process of generating the email signatures of the
mm-hmm.
employees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the traditional way of doing that was to provide like a Word document converted into a PDF with the
Right.
instructions, right? But somebody figured out a way to automate that. And this,
I use
you know,
automated. I use automated signatures for different platforms and for clients. Yeah,
so I think that you understand where I'm going with this. I mean,
totally.
they created a form in which you put your name, your title, whatever, and then you submit it. And when you click on that submit button, you get an email back, or with basically the template that you can just copy and paste
Correct.
on your Outlook. Okay.
Yes.
That to me is a way to simplify something that used to be provided with a PDF or with a
Yes.
Word document.
Yes.
Uh,
And I'm
Same
gonna
thing.
say, if you don't have a professional signature, you don't mean business, okay? Because you've got to have the ethos that you're serious about business and you have all of the infrastructure in place to do business. So, for example, Jose, my signature has a Zoom link if you want to schedule a Zoom meeting with me. It's got all
Uh-huh.
my social media, of course, my email, but it also gives enough information to where someone viewing that email that I send or the signature, does it comply with the protocols of someone that is serious about business?
Yeah. So my point is that, automating things within a
Totally.
company can be a business itself. Hey, if anyone decides to go into that, let me know.
Yeah. Well, what's
But
happened is a lot of this, the processes have been siloed into niche businesses that's all they do. For example, landing pages, there's a whole industry dedicated solely to landing pages.
right.
It's like the whole system of sales and marketing has been created and broken up into silos that you can just specialize in that particular niche and you're good.
Mhm.
You're set.
Yeah. Yeah. So uh, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this, Michelle, but to me, maybe some of these tools were created as marketing solutions, but in reality, the application is beyond that, right? Have to maximize the operations of a business. So automation to me is that, is not just marketing related. It's actually more than that.
Right. It optimizes your processes.
Before we turn over to Michelle, think about automation as the core fundamental principle towards creating volume. That's what Henry Ford did. Before Henry Ford created the automation process for manufacturing in the automobile industry, everything was custom made and it was put together one piece at a time. when he saw the automation in the slaughterhouse of how you could take an animal and take it from point A to point B to have steaks in the assembly
Mhm.
line, he said, "This is what I need to do," and that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about. Is automating processes to where you can scale up to a whole nother level if you were trying to do everything piece by piece and duplicating time after time after time something that could be automated.
Right.
Right. And there's an interesting stat how 80% of all advertising will be automated or is automated. So
Yes.
by using the technology that's available, whether it's Facebook, social media channels, email, whatever, right, we automate this and you essentially set it up one time. The setup is where you invest all of your time and your effort.
Yeah.
But once
Yeah.
you start to collect information on your customer, you understand their needs better, then you can tailor that future communications to suit their needs. So
The setup. You
those,
you touch on a very good point, I think, because like in the case of chatbots, for example, uh, they save a lot of time.
They do.
They save a lot of hours of
I've been
people that.
on chatbots for the last few days with vendors, and
Uh-huh.
again, they quickly qualify what is it that you need so they can direct you to the right department. And I love it. It's like, who of us now
Yeah,
calls a company for customer service? That's unheard of. Okay,
yeah,
right,
that's
yeah.
that's the
It,
new world we live in.
so in the case of the chatbots, to me is, and I'm saying this because actually right now I'm dealing with that challenge with this proposal that we're putting together.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Look, this is like a separate job. Okay,
Yes.
this is not necessarily something that goes into like redesigning a website. And
Right.
and my and I'm saying this because we have to think carefully about how to develop the scripts that go with a chatbot. And that is
Yes.
not something that I'm going to sit down and start thinking, well, after this, this person may ask this or
Yeah.
this. You know how you set up algorithms,
The
right?
journey.
I mean,
Yeah, the journey
yeah, the
of
journey,
someone that lands on your page and how you take
right?
them from point A to point B to generate an appointment or an
And
inquiry.
Right, and it is an ongoing process.
Yes.
We may spend time trying to figure out what the right script for a chatbot
Yes.
is, but maybe we have to review it 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later to improve it based on the statistics that we are getting
Yes.
from how
Totally.
it is performing. Yeah. Sorry,
and
Michelle.
and going back with that is to create the flow chart. So thinking about the questions ahead of time and then developing the content accordingly. So for example, let's say you were a coaching service and you were going to release your instruction. You might release that instruction as a white paper or an ebook. And then for those people who open it, you're gathering information that perhaps this segment of your audience prefers text or a written form of communication. And then for those who don't open it, then the next email that would go out to that segment would be an opportunity to perhaps view a video or a podcast. So now you're capturing information about the preferences of how your audience likes to consume information.
And those are touch
Interesting.
points. Those are touch points that you have with a prospect. Because in the old days, does anyone remember? I'm referencing print media. If you were going to do an advertising campaign in print, how many different views you would require to run your ad? Does anyone remember?
Views to get someone to
Different
respond to
times
it.
that you ran your ad, whether it was the same ad or whether it was a campaign. Do you remember the number?
I mean, the standard number was like 3. I don't know if that's what you're.
Seven. Seven.
7. Okay.
Seven
Well,
was
I
a
will
magic number. Yes.
And I will say that it really depends on the industry and the type of product that you're
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Obviously, in today's day and age, you still need the frequency, you still need the touch points, but it's going to be very nuanced by the industry and by the medium in which that you are advertising in. Okay.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
so when someone, to illustrate the point, when someone would ask me to do an ad campaign and they only had a budget for like 2 or 3 runs of the ad, I would say,
Oh.
you know, take your family to dinner, okay?
Yeah.
You'll do a lot more for your guys to have a happy family than for you to run an ad and get 0 response.
Save it for college.
I used to do the same thing. I used to consult with clients and tell them if they were only going to run an ad one to 3 times,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. And then, yeah, it used to be about 7 to 10 touch points before you could expect to get a conversion. But
Exactly.
today, considering all of the messages that are competing for the audience's attention,
Correct.
In the
it's you have to
different
touch
platforms
them.
too.
You have to touch
That
them
is
much
the
more
today.
frequently.
The attention. That's the capital, the attention of the consumer. Because if you don't have the process, if you don't have the content to grab the attention of the consumer, you're nothing. You're nothing in the marketplace. You may be able to get some of the market share by just sheer persistence, but if you want to be the top leader in your industry, you got to have the methodology. You got to have the processes and the systems.
Yeah.
And this
Go ahead.
is where it goes back to measuring and tracking your analytics, being
Data is
aware of
everything.
what the
Data is
consumer
king.
is,
Yes.
what your target is doing, and making sure that the links within your emails or say your social media communities or your social media messages, making sure that those links are tagged so you can go back and you can measure the effectiveness and you can measure the interests of your audience and understand what they're consuming and how they like to consume it.
And,
Or
and,
whether
and,
it's the type of content or whether it is the subject matter or and we see this frequently. Retailers use this. So when if you have a cart abandonment, retailers are excellent at making sure those triggered emails are set up for those consumers who leave their carts, and then within usually just a matter of minutes, you get a triggered email that encourages purchase.
there are apps or software that can actually
Yes.
detect that, right? And
Right.
we have a friend in
As a
common that actually used to work on that. I
Yeah,
think
as
that's
a last dish effort, sometimes they'll send you a coupon, 20, a special offer, 20 or 30% off of whatever you have in the queue.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
But
No,
the other thing though too, so if you're a coach or a trainer, someone in education or coaching, mentoring, you might even think about having a drip campaign where you have various tips, and all of that is set up automatically. So maybe it's a weekly tip, and you set it up. You don't have to do any work much. I'll backtrack a little bit. You don't have to do much work because your program is already set up.
It's the setup that takes time. I got
And
exposed to this process, the drip campaign system, when I was giving a lecture at NASA, and there was a company that was in that industry that brought out the data that unless you touch a prospect more than 5 times, less than 5 was the magical number that you're not going to get a sale. But after 5, your chances were going to exponentially increase through that touch. And so again, the tips and suggested recommendations is a process psychologically to keep them engaged, to not feel like you're being spammed, so that you unsubscribe and that's it, you lost a prospect. So only now I tried to do it on the front end. It was very complicated. it was very complex. You almost had to hire someone to do it because again, I'm dating myself here about 7 years ago. I'm sure the process has been completely automated now to where through AI you can simply click and copy and use AI to write a lot of the script for that. But not only
Oops.
also had to have an email list, an extensive email list to work off of. And so today's market, and I'm telling you this because I don't know if you guys have been using Constant Contact, but I tried to set it up for a client and they have really improved to where you can create content to tease people to give you their email to register for a drip campaign. So there's all kinds of things, but go ahead, guys.
I was
Yeah.
going to just add though, the trick is just to anticipate the questions. Think about the questions and how you're going to address them and how you're going to entice, how you're going to craft the content so it entices the customer to purchase, to sign up, to take the next step, whatever that next action step is.
You guys ever heard of the concept of cheese or cat? It's a marketing concept. Cheese or cat? Never heard of it? It's been around forever.
From 1 year, your legacy, guys.
Yeah, so it's been around forever, but basically, are you offering cheese to draw people in? Or are you a cat ready to attack and to put a crass pitch on someone that responds to you? So the idea is to get lots of cheese to draw them in before you turn into a cat.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, learning something new here today. I don't recall hearing that before, but no, thank you for bringing that up.
I'm going to post it in the show notes because the psychology of it is brilliant. When I first heard of it, I said, well, of course, this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah. But looking at the slide that you have right now on the screen, and maybe another thing that I wanted to bring up is the idea that about automating things within a company generates a culture of data analysis.
Yes.
I think other than being like a geek of what else can I optimize here, right? What other process can or procedure can be improved here? The fact that you're generating all this information through the different solutions that you're implementing within a firm, it's going to drive that individual, department, or even the company to have that culture of analyzing data and making sure that we are on an ongoing process of improving through the tools that we have set up.
Very good point. If you don't have data, you don't know what's good and what's bad. It's the data that is going to determine what you need to really focus on to be able to convert.
Yeah,
exactly. And feeding that information into your strategy to make improvements and optimize your processes, right?
Yeah. So my thing is that it may start by just the idea that let's try to make this better, right? Let's see if we can optimize this. But after implementing for a few months, you're gonna realize that there's more, and then you become like a data geek, trying to figure out how to make this thing better because we have a lot of data.
And that's where if you're not ready to do a deep dive into this, better farm it out. Better farm it out to some provider that's their expertise, because again, it could be a very costly proposition with very little return for you if you don't know what you're doing.
And the other thing too,
from personal experience. Do you know how much conversion I got from that drip campaign company? Zero. Zero, because my email list consisted of about 15 people who the majority opted out once they got the first email not to receive any future emails. Because again, I didn't know what I was doing, but now I have an email company that is doing the email marketing for me that they have all the science behind it.
Perfect.
The other
Michelle,
thing too is there. Well, I was going to say there are tools like Tableau where you can pull in vast amounts of data to help you analyze this and to make really nice visuals. Tableau is not free; it is paid software. But know that there are software tools available to help you do the analysis and to make it a little bit more friendlier.
Awesome.
and there are other tools that can actually help you with this. Actually, every online tool that you have, marketing tool that you have today, they have some type of data uh, um, um, app inserted into the service, right? But Tableau by far is like one of the top, one of the top providers there when it comes to data analysis. But I wanted to also mention a few things about the benefits of marketing automation. I know that Michelle, this was your specific topic, but maybe just to recap some of the things that we have been talking about: efficiency and time savings. That's one of the big benefits behind automating things within a firm. Personalizing, and this happens a lot with email blasts. Personalizing emails, it's another big benefit that can come out of automating things. Lead generation, the fact that somebody is filling a form, and this form they selected this specific items that costs maybe $20, but that item is associated, or that product is associated or related with another product. Then the fact that you can scale up or upsell that specific product that the individual is selecting, that is another big benefit associated with automating processes. And the one that I mentioned before, the fact that you can generate a culture within the firm of data analysis, which may not necessarily be something that is being implemented, especially in small and medium-sized businesses. That is probably one of the biggest benefits that we can see in creating that automated processes within a firm. I don't know, Michelle, if you want to add a few more.
I was going to say the other good thing about automation is maintaining relationships with your clients and strengthening those relationships, because now we can automate those messages to go out at specific times, or like with chatbots, you get an
Right.
immediate message. We no longer have to wait until somebody is in the office to send those messages or answer those emails. So it really helps to strengthen and build those relationships even after the sale.
We have a big street fest coming up for Cinco de Mayo, and I'm getting a lot of messages through Messenger and Instagram about, hey, is there an opportunity to become a vendor? Hey, when does the fest begins? When does the fest end? Uh, I am a mariachi band. I am a part of this mariachi band. Do you still have a space? The point is that getting so many requests that are basically related to each other, because they are asking almost the same thing, and automating that part of the process through Facebook or Instagram. And by the way, Facebook has improved a lot on how to automate responses through their Messenger app. So, and I have some screenshots that I wanted to show here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. But uh, automating the Messenger on Facebook, to me, is a big deal, especially when you have events or things that are coming up and people are requesting information. And what usually happens is that weeks or 2 weeks or the week prior, you start getting tons of emails, tons of requests, to the point that you don't know, you stop responding to them because you cannot handle it, when you can actually be setting up or set up on a script on Messenger, Facebook, that can actually do the work for you. even when you're sleeping, right? they
Right.
Absolutely.
you have someone that can be answering questions. So that's one of the big things. But I also wanted to mention about forms because I used to do that a lot before, generating forms. And one of my preferred tools in the past and even today has been FormStack. FormStack is a very thorough, very complex tool for generating forms. And the way that you set up logics, and that's the term that they use to automate responses to emails. So for example, if the entrance to an event is $50, and there's another option of $100, and there's another option for $200. If somebody selected $100, this email will go to person XYZ. If they selected 50, this goes to person. So very simple thing to do, and this is more like an inbound type of way of optimizing things within a firm. So you assign people to receive a specific information that is being generated on the forms that you have. Those that have worked creating online forums in the past will get it right away. Oh man, if this person is located in Oklahoma,
Yes.
what should the reply email be? Am I going to be including the bank branches that I have in Texas or the ones in Oklahoma? Right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying here. So that's another beauty
Give
behind
us the
this.
name of that platform again, Jose.
Form Stack. Form
FormStack.
Stack. Yeah.
Do they have
Very,
a
very
free
good.
version to try? Do you know?
I'm sure it has. There's
Okay.
probably a trial period. I've been using it for almost 10 years already.
Okay.
And there are others, such as JotForm. That's another
Okay.
one. But I think that by far, FormStack is the most professional one.
Okay.
Maybe not the cheapest, but hey, it
You get
integrates
what you
very
pay for.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
what you pay for.
yeah,
Michelle,
exactly.
what are some other platforms or tips that you can give our listeners?
I would say start small.
Okay.
So you might have 5 different ideas for drip campaigns. So you might think about having a drip campaign for welcoming newcomers to your store. You could think about offering weekly tips. You might think about having a drip campaign for abandoned carts or trainings, whatever it might be. I would say start small and do one campaign well and get your feet wet, because these things do take time to create them, and making sure that the messaging is correct. Again, the whole purpose is to engage your customer. So it should be personalized, it should be timely, relevant, and putting your plan together. And then
The
once
beauty
you
of it, yeah, the
once
beauty
you
of it
get
is rinse and repeat. You
your
once you got the right sweet spot, you can rinse and repeat and do it all over again. If we recall the HubSpot flywheel model, you're
Yeah,
engaging and you're delighting. As a result, you're hitting 2 points as a result of automation.
yeah,
right,
yeah.
and of
Can I?
course measure the results.
Yeah,
Okay, and I just briefly, because I know that we're running out of time here, but another thing that maybe people need to consider is know exactly, and you kind of mentioned this already, Michelle. Know exactly what you want to accomplish,
yes,
and know what the capability of the tool that you're looking at is, because it may not be the right fit for what you're trying to accomplish. So that is something that I seen others just go ahead and buy this.
yeah.
Let's make it run, and then all suddenly, hey, yeah,
I
uh,
lost about twenty
oh
five
man, it
hundred
doesn't do
dollars
what it's supposed to.
I lost about $2,500. If someone would have sat down with me and said, "Victor, this is not for you," I
Yeah,
would have paid him. I would have paid him
yeah,
$100. So don't
Ex-
don't make the same mistakes that we have made If you
Yeah.
want honest opinions, honest expertise, give us a call. Give us a call because we're all willing to sit down with you and help you navigate in either starting an automation process or even scale your automation to a whole nother level because it's a brave new world with AI.
Yeah, and it's changing a lot all the time. So even
Yes.
even for someone like me, okay, yeah, I know how it works, but who knows if they added some new feature to it, right? That
Yeah.
I'm not aware of. So that
I
happens.
was listening to a neuroscientist yesterday say that we now have the infrastructure in place, even though it's decades out, to create nanobots that you ingest in pill form, and it will reprogram your mind to fly like a B-57 plane. Okay, in weeks, Okay, or
You're
days.
kidding me.
Yes, no, the infrastructure is in place to be able to do that through AI. Because what these nanobots end up doing is they observe and categorize all the brain functions that you go through in your learning process to customize how you learn, so that the pills or the nanobots are specifically programmed for your brain. Okay, get that? That's the
So
brain new
rewiring the
rewiring
brain.
your brain for
Damn,
you to have a
scary.
skill. Imagine just uploading your brain to have a master's degree without spending 4 to 5 years in college in one
Hey,
week.
just transfer the files, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
All
All
right,
right.
guys. Well, that's it for us. Thank you for joining us and your valuable input, guys. Until next week. What are we doing next week? Are we going to do a deeper dive into this?
Yes, yes, we can do a deeper dive because again, today we have just touched like the top level of
Yes.
things related to automation, but definitely we can go into email, chatbots. It's going to be beautiful. All right, next
Awesome.
week.
Well, there you have
Yeah.
it. Be sure to join us next week. We do this every Wednesday from 11 to 11:30, give or take. All right. Go out and have
All
a
right.
great weekend.
Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.